Another Albanian has been convicted of rape. Surprise, surprise. This time it was of a 15-year-old girl in London. He got a pathetic sentence, but there's two important factors here regarding this. The first one is the police, authorities and media cover-up. So in the LBC article, they referred to Rafat Casimir of I Road, Leighton. Well, I looked up the name and surprise, surprise, it's Albanian. Why are they telling us the street he lived on, yet they can't tell us his nationality, how long he's been in the country, how he came into the country, did he come illegally, did he come legally, did they do a background check, a criminal record check? None of that stuff is disclosed. Now, it's not the first time they've done it. So an Albanian was convicted of a brutal rape up in Sheffield. Yet the article referred to him as Sheffield man convicted. Like, what? He's no more a Sheffield man than I'd be a Japanese man if I committed a crime in Japan. It's an Albanian who's committed a crime in Sheffield. Again, deliberately misleading us of these facts. Clearly, these people have an agenda. Secondly, is the simple left-wing denial to admit that immigration has got anything to do with this case. There were people arguing about it, going back and forth. Some were saying, well, the rapist is solely to blame. The other side was saying, well, the girl's friends have to take some responsibility because they didn't look after their drunken friend. They were also saying the bar has to take some responsibility for serving this underage girl. Yet, while these idiots were going back and forth with their disingenuous nonsense, there was a massive elephant in the room no one was prepared to mention, so I mentioned it, and that was immigration. If this rapist isn't allowed in the country in the first place, then there is no rape. So now we need to look into why was he allowed into the country at all. As soon as I said this, people went ballistic. One woman started showing me all these statistics to say that the vast majority of rapes committed in this country are from white men. Now, I can't verify their legitimacy, but what kind of insane, deranged logic is that? The fact that even if there was lots of rapists in this country, that's justification for importing more Albanian rapists. I mean, it's just insane. And there's two types of delusional left-wing nutjob who propagate this nonsense. The first one is the type who sees the world through a deranged utopian lens. In their eyes, everything's rainbows and unicorns. And these are the same people that would literally let Ted Bundy out onto the street. They'd say, oh, he's had a bad childhood, he's been through this, he's been through that traumatic experience. You know, give him a bit of therapy, a bit of love, and then he should be released, and I'm sure he'll be fine. What about his human rights? Okay, so he gets released, and he does it again. And then when he's arrested, he gets released, he does it again, and again, and again, and again. And in all this deranged madness, the only people nobody gives a shit about is the victims and their families. The second type is the really nasty, just disingenuous liars with a political agenda who hide it behind compassion. Now, to these people, who are usually the communists and the socialists, immigration is a useful tool for them. They don't believe in borders and nationalities or any of that, and they want it all abolished. And as I've said, immigration is very useful in achieving that. So these movements are authoritarian by nature. They don't want any opposing opinions to be aired. So therefore, anyone who speaks out against them has to be shut down. Nothing can get in the way of their agenda. That's why these people will do anything to shut you up. And what I've realized is, come hell or high water, these people are going to follow that agenda through. They're absolutely religious nuts, convinced of it. So there's no way you can even reason with these people. I tried to do so on the middle ground. I said, okay, maybe that you don't want to admit what's happened here because you're scared it could lead to demonization of an entire group. And I thought, well, yeah, I get that. That's fair enough. But okay, that aside, in this just one instance, this specific particular instance of this Albanian guy who committed this rape, if we could go back in time before he's committed it, knowing what we know now, surely we could agree that we would stop him at the border and turn him back and not allow him into the country. Obviously, you'd agree with that, right? No, not a chance. Absolutely not a chance. Shut up. You're a bigot. You're a racist. You're a xenophobe. And I literally couldn't believe what I was hearing. And it leads me to think now, forget about debating or even talking about these people. All we need to do now is form a strong political resistance to get this madness stopped. Because if we don't, as a country, we are digging our grave ever deeper, and we're going to put a gun to the country's head and just pull the trigger, because we're literally committing suicide if we allow this to happen. So I don't have all the answers, but as I said, something's got to be done before it's too late.